Today we're going to present to you the latest events and happenings in the MMM global community. To all our viewers around the world, this is MNC. For this week's events roundup, we will showcase events from Nigeria and RSA, and a look back at MMM Philippines' very first offline presentation. Then in our MMM Gives Back, we will feature people with spinal cord injury, patients at a hospital, children at an orphanage, and a community in Peru who all receives gifts from the MMM community. And for this week's Just an Opinion segment, Guider Emil San Juan wonders why some people hate MMM. When Guider Akinwande Bukola was first introduced to the MMM community, he still had doubts, but he also saw an opportunity not to be missed. So he took the leap of faith and decided to participate. Months after, he has become a guider and is now reaping the benefits of the platform. So he has made it a personal mission to share about MM with others by hosting offline presentations, like the one he held on July 9th at the Nurses' Home Common Room of Federal Medical Center in Lokoha with 14 people in attendance. He made sure that he did not miss any detail in presenting MMM's history, ideology, and other important topics to his guests. He also told them that the platform is free and simple, that all they need is to fully understand the ideology of system and have the mindset that by coming together in the MMM community, they all can be financially free. As parting words, he challenged them to not let an opportunity like MM slip their hands, because later on they may regret not grabbing it sooner. Another active guider contributing to the steady growth of the MMM community in Nigeria is Guider Popola Olufemi Gabriel, who had his own offline event at the CG Royal Fast Food at the Iva in Lagos State last July 9. He was very straightforward as he introduced his audience to different concepts about MMM. He told them that MMM's goal for its members is to have a fair financial system that would help them become financially free, so they no longer need to go to banks to borrow money when in need of funds. And while discussing the role of Mavro in the donation exchange process, Guider Gabriel clarified that the 30% that MMM members receive is not an interest but only rewards for their commitment to help. While others go for longer presentations, Guider Wanda Makadi from MM Republic of South Africa likes to keep it short and simple. That is why her offline presentation last July 17, 2016 at the Sayamoya JP School in Kwashimashu F. Durban took less than 30 minutes to finish. Short for some, but for her it was more than enough to impart her knowledge about MMM concepts and how things work. Her short but information-filled explanation in mixed English and South African language ensured that her audience was attentive from start to finish. She also reminded them that for the community to continue providing them rewards, they have to be active in making regular spare money donations and sharing MMM to as many people as they possibly can. What would you do when a window of opportunity presents itself for you to share MMM? You just simply grab it like what Guider Benyeri Josie Omong did on July 31st. Members of the Great Army Ministries International gathered that day at the Gami Auditorium in Port Harcourt for their Abundant Harvest 2016. Guider Benyeri asked the pastor if it was possible for him to share about MMM in front of the congregation. And luckily, he was given permission but with a caution to keep it short. It was not a problem for Guider Benyeri because in only about 7 minutes, he was already able to give them an overview about MMM as a social network of people helping people. He also made them see the unfair system of banks where they use depositors' money to earn big interest for themselves and only gives a very low one to the depositors. Before the clock hit the 8-minute mark, Guider Benyeri ended his short speech and thanked the crowd for listening and the pastor of the congregation for granting him at a little window to share MMM with them. He later handed out forms to interested individuals so he can keep in touch with them for a more in-depth discussion about MMM. Our last story for this week is a look back at the very first offline event of MMM Philippines. As early as November 2014, MMM Philippines already has members, but inviting people wasn't limited to online posts on Facebook and other sites. It would have its very first offline presentation in Coronadal City only 3 months later on Valentine's Day of 2015.
Part sa akong speaker this afternoon to help us ma-augment ang mga
with Guider Elmer Labinghisa and Ligaya Wisner as organizers. On that day, a prayer formally opened the occasion, then Guider Ligaya introduced Guider Elmer as the speaker of the day. Majority of the audience were between the ages of 18 to 30, and Guider Elmer told them that his wish is that every one of them will become part of the young MMM Philippine community. He even encouraged them to avail of the free online Guider schooling to deepen their knowledge of MMM. From there, he shared with them what MMM is and how its donation exchange program works. Guider Elmer also showed a video presentation about Bitcoin. This milestones gathering was a success and became the template of future offline events in the Philippines. Nelson Mandela once said that if you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart. This is what Guider Williams Emmanuel Bello and his team put in practice last August 8 when they visited some members of the Spinal Cord Injuries Association of Nigeria's chapter in Mina, Niger State. He spoke to them in their native tongue as he introduced his team and the purpose of their visit. He also briefly introduced them to MMM concept and what it does as a global community. Two of the recipients next shared their experiences as people with disabilities in the spinal cord. Before the ceremony ended, another member of the team stood up and addressed the attendees in English. He thanked them for welcoming the team and wished that the grains, noodles, and other essential items they brought would be of help even for just a few days. Hospitals are not the usual first choices venue for charity events. But for Guider Thomas Dones and his team, any place that has people in need of help deserves a visit from the MMM community. So on August 11 of this year, he and his team brought different hygiene products and ready-to-eat snack items as gifts for the patients of Kiwali General Hospitals in Abuja State, Nigeria. Upon arrival, they made a courtesy call first to one of the administrators of the hospitals to introduce themselves and state the purpose of their visit. She gladly welcomed them, and she even watched as they equally divided the items they brought into individual plastic containers. She also joined them as they distributed their gifts from one section of the hospitals to another. And for Guider Thomas and his team, the smiling faces they saw and the heartfelt thank you and God bless you they heard inspired them more to continuously put MMM's power of giving into action. Singing is what welcomed Guider Sifo Kelvin and his team when they visited Pro Labore Day Orphanage in Asaba Delta State, Nigeria on the 12th of August 2016. After that warm welcome, a child from the orphanage led a prayer to open the joyous occasion. Then two members of the team gave their short testimony and thank you message for the benefits they have received from MMM. Afterwards, Guider Kevin gave a short overview of MMM before formally handing over the toilet papers, diapers, food items, and other essential goods they brought that day. The children were happy for the gifts they received from the community, and they eagerly helped each other to bring it inside the shelter. Togo Kiao, an administrator of the orphanage, said thank you to the MMM community on behalf of the children. And before the team left, the children sang another song for them.
Nakita si MMM.
MMM.
In times of crisis or difficulties, collaboration with others is the best route to weather the storm. And that is exactly what MMM Peru guiders Myra Chomba, Pablo Yuman, Margarita Aguilar, and their team did when they organized their campaign against cold on September 2 of this year. They targeted the extremely poor area of Los Girasoles, Petamac, Perla Segunda, and Manchay, Peru for their endeavor. The area experiences high incidence of bronchorespiratory disease during the cold season because most of the people residing there do not have extra money to buy warmer winter clothes. This presented an opportunity for the MMM community of Peru to make a difference by bringing winter garments as gifts. Guider Myra opened the occasion by introducing herself and the team and giving a short overview of what MMM is. Then they started distributing winter clothes to mothers, children, and the elderly from the area. The event was simple with no fancy decorations, save for a big tarpaulin and some green balloons. But 130 persons from 50 families are now assured of a warmer winter season.
Hello! How are you doing today? Are you excited for today's segment? Brace yourself because I am Emil and this is Just My Opinion. On our segment last week, we talked about why MMM is loved and accepted despite being tagged as a scam. So today, what we are going to talk about is the opposite. You heard it right. The opposite question, why some people hate MMM. I know some of you won't react, but some will do. So let me share my opinion first. Before we go ahead, let's talk about the two groups of people who despise the existence of MMM. First, there are those who are just skeptical with MMM and Sergey Mavrodi. And second, there are people who joined MMM and experience failure through pause mode and restart. Sounds familiar, right? Well, here's what I want to say about the first group. These are the people who are skeptical about MMM and maybe wants MMM to be shut down because they just don't see it like the way we do. I mean, people have different perspective about things and they are entitled to their own personal opinion just like everyone else. And what I believe is we cannot please everyone. It's really hard if you try to do it. So I guess having the first group of people is just normal. They will do everything to discourage people from joining MMM, but still you have to show respect for them because you'll never know how things will turn out later. Maybe these people who are serving as discouragement today will be the most active promoter of MMM tomorrow. Next, you have these people who became a part of MMM, maybe in the past or up until now, who experienced failures in pause mode and restarts. These are the people who joined MMM with improper expectation. What do I mean by that? We all know that not all participants of MMM are well-oriented on how the system works because MMM is a big community and it's composed of millions of people. Not everyone is trained to properly explain the mechanics of MMM. So from here, there are people who are there are people who are invited to MMM with the expectation that it is a business or an investment scheme with high return and low risk. What they don't know is that MMM is a mutual aid system with no guarantee or promises, and it only works because the participants are developing the system. They don't understand that the real essence of donation exchange, where money is exchanged freely with no agreements or whatsoever. They see MMM as an investment instrument. So when time comes that there is a panic, these people will either blame the whole community or the people who invited them to participate. And we cannot blame them either, simply because it's natural instinct of people to easily trust something they see as a trend for the crowd. I think the second group needs more attention from the administration. The rules for joining should be more strict. People must understand the ideology first in full before they can join MMM. In this way, more internal problems can also be addressed. And that, my friend, is what I think the main reason or reasons why some people hate MMM. Do you agree with this, or do you know something, or do you know any reason or any answer for that question? Share it with us. That's it for this week. I will see you again next week. Hopefully we'll get more suggested topics from our audience. This is Emil saying, always remember that everything that I said in this video is just my opinion. Have a great day and bye-bye.
On this day, South Africans are celebrating their culture and the diversity of their beliefs and traditions. To our MMM community members in RSA and the rest of the Rainbow Nation, Happy Heritage Day. And that ends our edition for this week. I am Mark, and always remember, together we change the world.